Today we're going to be harvesting corn. It is June and we are harvesting corn. Corn that's gone through storm after storm after storm. And wasn't sure if I was doing this right, but obviously I was doing something right because we got corn. So today I'm going to show you how this harvest turned out, what was the good, what was the bad, and what I learned through growing this corn. The wind is a powerful force of nature. It can be both beautiful and destructive, as I found out one fateful day in my little cornfield here onto the homestead. It seemed like every time the wind would blow, it would knock down my corn stalks, leaving them lying onto the ground every which way. I wasn't sure if my corn would survive, but I was determined to help it stand back up. So each time the wind blew it down, knocked it right on down, I was carefully placed dirt around the base of the stalk, hoping to get it back up, to give it the support so that it can reach tall, so that it would need a time to stand in its rightful place. So carefully and gently pulling the corn stalks up, placing the dirt around the root system, patting it in, hoping it would stand. And the corn went down. It happened 5 times. The wind blowing my corn down and me rushing to it to rescue it. Each time I wasn't sure if my efforts would even pay off or it'd be enough to save it. To learn more about my corn, it was time for me to endure. To learn more about corn, I let some of it go down, stay down for the 5th time and lay there so that I can learn from it. So I let it lay there so I can learn from my corn, learn how to raise corn up even through troublesome times. So I let some of it lay there when it went down after the 5th time where it was at to see what it would do, what would happen. Would it survive? Would it produce corn? I really didn't know. I didn't know, but I waited with expectations. But against all odds, my corn not only survived, but it thrived. It produced the most beautiful ears of corn, a testament to the resistance of not letting nature get to you and the power of perseverance. The next time the wind blows, I'll be ready to lend my support to my corn once again. Because no matter how many times it gets knocked down, I know it has the strength to stand back up and flourish. I also learned that I have the strength to stand back up and flourish. I learned that I have the strength to be a little helper into a big ear of corn. Okay, we got 74 ears for our first little harvest here. And that's all I've harvested so far. Not counting my 8 ears I think I took off out of here earlier to eat. So that's good. That's really good. Now, I did have not bad at all worm issues. I kind of expected that the way it was falling, and I couldn't get in there and watch it. And so just a little bit. You know, it should have been on every ear, but it wasn't. And so the pollination was great. Really no differently than last year. Actually, last year was great. Last year I had, like at the top, it didn't pollinate that well, but that's all. That was pretty much it. I didn't have any worm issues, and the pollination was really great. I only had a couple, I think 2 or 3 ears that didn't pollinate that well, but the chickens enjoyed them. They're out there, and I cut the ends off of the ones that they have the worms that did get to it. It wasn't that many, but the chickens, once again, did enjoy that. So anyways, I've got to get these in the house. I wasn't really, honestly, was not expecting that much, and just those 2 little rows. So, and I've still got a ways to go. We'll get these into the house, and eventually we'll find out how many ears of corn that we got out of this little plot. So all the corn is down. This time down, but a harvest. So what did I learn at this? Well, one of the things I learned is when I got to my second harvest, going in there getting my second harvest, which is here into my little trailer here, the corn in the middle wasn't pollinated as well as I thought it was going to be. As a matter of fact, I expected to have bigger corn on there, and it actually was smaller. So that kind of surprised me. The other thing I learned is that the corn that blew down after the 5th time of putting it up, and then that afternoon some of it went down again, and I didn't stand it back up. Either it didn't pollinate, or either it had small corn onto it. So I learned, well, you know, what I was doing all along was a good thing. That determination was a good thing. So the corn that was beside it that I had stood up that morning that didn't fall down, it was beautiful corn. So I did get a fantastic harvest. I'm going to now go and get the husk off of these right here, and go ahead and put the corn up. Last batch is already into the freezer. I believe you've got a 3-hour window before your corn starts to turn it into starch. And so I beat that 3-hour window, and now I'm getting my second harvest here. That's why I don't pick it all at one time, but pick some and then put it up and come back for more. But the corn is down. This time it is a good down. And so I am very happy with my harvest. I really am. I had very little worms that got into my corn, very little at the top of it, which can be cut off. I had lots of great pollination with the corn that got big, great pollination. I only had a couple of cobs that didn't pollinate that well, and that was fantastic, considering everything this little cornfield here went through. So now let me get over here, and I'm going to take all these stalks off of here and get this corn into the freezer. And we have succeeded into this harvest. Corn is one determined plant. And if you're going through storms, because we had the rain, we had the wind, the soil was wet, and the corn kept going down and down and down, and I was like, oh my God, you know, right when it was beautiful, right when it started pollinating, oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. But we got corn. So now what I'm going to do is, I don't know how many ears of corn I've gotten. I don't know how many is in there. I didn't count them. I was just trying to get the corn out of the garden and get it out as quickly as possible to get the husk off of here and get it in the house and get it in the freezer to meet my window. I believe it's 3 hours. It's either 3 or 4 hours. So yeah. Well, and I want to say thank you all my subscribers. I appreciate you so much. And I want to say Thank you so much for all those that left comments. You'll never know how much that meant to me. It was nice having people that had your back. When you're learning to grow corn, and then you're going through these storms, and you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to figure out what to do, what not to do, and you got people that take the time and leave a comment and help you out and give you ideas. It was awesome, and I want to give y'all a thumbs up for doing that. I mean, I appreciate it. So now next year, those comments will still be there. I'll go back and look at those comments. I'm gonna go back and look at them again this year after I get my harvest up, and then next year I have those comments there to help me out in case I go through this again, because y'all have some great comments in there, some awesome ideas, and every one of them was just awesome. So thank you so much for doing that. Oh, let me get over here and get this tucked off of here. So we got a total of 136 ears of corn, and the chickens are loving some of the pieces they're getting and all the cobs. Actually, they're full. They're not even eating anymore. But 136 ears. Now I know why in the older days, back in the day, why they would make corn dolls and take this and make chairs, seat chairs. I got a chair in there. It came from Appalachia, Appalachian Mountains, and so it was made out of corn husk, the seat chairs. So if I can get that out of my mouth, I'm tired. I'm pulling on this corn. So, but yeah, it seems like a lot of waste. Cows and pigs, stuff like that, love to eat this right here. Therefore, you wouldn't have any waste. Corn cobs up there, or out there. Gosh, I really need to stop. But I gotta get this corn put up. And go back into the garden. They do hold water. And, when you put them in your garden, they will hold the water. So, we always got to try to figure out a way to not have waste, but to make it useful. Thanks, guys, for watching. 136 ears, 5 storms later. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. And please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment on anything. Do you grow corn? What do you think about all this that I've gone through? There's a series of videos, so but yeah, I think it's turned out awesome. The garden is looking like a jungle, but we're in June, so things are going to start dying back, but we got the corn out. Today we're going to be planting corn, and I've already got my rows made up, and I'm going to be doing the corn this year like I did last year. You'll see a row there and a row close by. Another row, another row. These rows in the middle, the ones that does not have the fertilizer into it, have already got the fertilizer into the furrows and been covered up. Here I have raked up a little row, made a furrow with my hoe, and then I have sprinkled fertilizer 10-10-10 down each row. Now what I'm going to be doing is covering them up. The rows are close by. We're close to each other. But this is for good pollination. It worked really excellent last year, and so I'm going to be doing it again. My rake right there, and cover the fertilizer up. Spring garden is off to a start. Beautiful day out here. Hey guys, Southern Comfort here. Well, my corn is really taking off now, and I do it a different method than everybody else. I did it last year, just giving it a trial run, never grown corn. Decided to give it a run and thought, well, it might get 2 or 3 feet high. And it actually stalked out some of it to 9 feet. I got an abundance of harvest. I was really surprised. And so this year I'm doing the same method, different than everybody else. As you can tell, I have these up onto hills. Now, I have not heeled it up or laid it over, as they call it, or like that. But I have gone in there and cultivated around these plants to create that not to get grass in there, because if you get grass into your corn, it's going to win the battle. So you got to stay up on top of it. And so I've cultivated around it. Came out here, that was yesterday morning. Came out here this morning, and these plants really have super grown. Some of them are 7 inches high. I'm believing for 7 feet. 7 inches high, and you'll hear the crows. Because now they come out here when I come out here. But you see the corn that's about 7 inches high. So some of it's about 3 to 4, 5 inches high. So it's growing in different spurts. And the reason they're coming out here, because usually I feed the chickens and they're looking for that corn. And I just seen one fly over, and I do watch them, and I take care of that situation. But I did do a video on how to keep crows out of your corn. Hey guys, well, as you can tell, the sun is not up yet, and I came out here yesterday late afternoon, near dark, to shut the chickens up into the coop. And I turned around and I saw my corn, and I kind of gasped. We had a bad windstorm that came through here yesterday with lots of rain. And I knew there was lots of rain and wind. This week I was kind of concerned about my corn. I thought, if a rainstorm comes, would it blow this corn over? Because I was kind of looking at the roots. The roots have not developed enough. Most of this corn was about 6 foot tall. It had a place onto the stalk that 4 ears of corn. Yes, Mr. Rooster. 4 ears of corn was growing on most of it. It was tasseling out. Some of it had opened up yesterday, and then we got this humongous windstorm with lots of rain. And we are going to be having more rain, possibly within an hour, they say. I really don't go off with the weather. I kind of always look at the sky. I knew the wind was blowing, but then when I turned around and looked at my corn, I was like, oh my God. I kind of gasped, because this is a gardener's nightmare. So let's go take a look at the corn. Honestly, I have not looked on the other side of it. I just glanced from the front, and actually the front was the place that I wouldn't expect it to fall. It was taller, but of course it was taller. But on the other side, probably about 4 or 5 days ago, we had a little wind, and it blew some down on the other side. I went in there and I put the dirt back around it, stood it back up. It did okay, did good. And yesterday when I walked through the garden, I always walk through the garden to check the insects out, to see what the garden's doing. I haven't even walked through the garden. I don't have a clue what is going on with the garden. On this side, it looks pretty good, but we'll take a look at it. Thank God I got my potatoes out. It was definitely a good call to get these potatoes out, because I just wasn't expecting this amount of rain and the wind. And I was like, oh my God. So on this side they were 6 feet tall. Now, honestly, it seems like, and maybe it's just me, it seems like it's already stood up a little bit. The sun, of course, the sun hasn't came out. But maybe it was my shock when I turned around and saw it. So, as you can tell, the corn, that's definitely, that right there is, up there is about 7 feet tall. So, corn grows at nighttime. And so you can come out here and it can be one size and the next morning be a different size. On this side, the corn was a little bit shorter. And gosh, it has grown a lot. So this is definitely have ranged to 5 feet over here and taller. So back over there, I can see in the middle, that's definitely 7 to 8 feet tall. So let's go around to the other side. It's horrible. It's horrible to see your corn like this when it's so beautiful. Oh wow, I can't even get over. I don't know what I was thinking. I can't even get over there on that side. Oh my God. Well, I was going to squeeze through there, but I'm not able to get through there because the squash got blown over. The corn is kind of blown over. But my root system the development on my root system was taking place with this corn. It was starting to really start reaching down, and I noticed that yesterday morning, But I also noticed on some of it, it just has not developed enough. With some that I stood up, and it stayed up this time. It's like a gust of circling wind came through here and just created like this tornado effect. I see in the middle down there where I did stand it up, it did fall back down. Honestly, I don't know if that's going to stand back up in there. But this is what I noticed yesterday morning. You see the root system? It hadn't even quite developed. I don't know if it's going to make it. So it just didn't quite have enough roots. It was just starting to reach down. Yes, I had dirt piled up around these plants. We had so much rain, and it does wash some of the dirt away. And this is on a slope, so that doesn't help out at all. Amazingly, that one stalk is standing up by itself. But it's like a circling a wind just came rushing through here. And I was amazed because the greenhouse is right there. So there is a blockage from the wind. It's weird because that's right there standing up. If I had known this, I probably would have tried to tie it off since this is a block of corn. But yeah, I mean, who knows, right? So, oh gosh. Hopefully the sun will pull it back up, majority of it. We'll see. After this harvest, I'll be taking a look at those comments because everybody, you know, that gave me a comment, let me know I got your back. They gave me their input, experienced gardeners, experienced people who know about corn, and it was just awesome that they gave me, you know, took the time and gave me the input on what and how to handle this corn when the winds was blowing it down. So maybe next year, some of those comments, or one of those comments, or all those comments, I'll be using next year when I'm growing corn. So thank you again for taking the time and having my back.